please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We put lights on back there.
Okay, I see Kelly down there. If there's no objection, we will take item 161 out of order in order to accommodate our recreation department employees. Kelly? You're very welcome.
Is it darker in here?
You just sit in one of those chairs. Oh, over here.
Oh, one of these chips.
So I can see on TV.
Oh, okay.
Darker in here?
Lights aren't on down back.
You don't want more lights?
No, it's fine. It just felt darker.
No, just citizen. Thank you. Yeah. Hi.
Okay, Kelly, you have the floor. You want to talk to us about, Professionals Day.
Sure, yeah. So this Friday is National Parks and Recreation Professionals Day, as celebrated by the National Parks and Recreation Association nationally. So we are chatting with the select board about it today in the hopes that maybe we can declare Friday National Parks and Recreation Day here in Burlington as well. We will be joining our colleagues not only across the state but across the nation and celebrating our staff throughout the day with different surprises that we have planned for them, just as a thank you for all the work that they do year round.
I believe we know just what you're talking about. We happen to have a proclamation here. And Selectman Priest kind enough to share it with the audience.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Kelly, I mean, just obviously it's great to be able to read this aloud and present this to you on behalf of the select board. I think it's important that everyone just kind of recognizes that, we do proclamations, we recognize DPW and Parks and Rec, but we do it because we want the residents to be aware of all the important work that our departments do and the wonderful things that you do as our staff. I mean, it's so great, and we're lucky to have the staff that we do have. So,
Thank you.
whereas the Burlington Select Board recognizes that the Parks and Recreation field is a diverse and comprehensive system that improves personal, social, environmental, and economic health, and whereas the Select Board recognizes the importance and benefits of park and recreation services that enrich the lives of its citizens and help make this community a desirable place to live, work, and visit, and whereas the Select Board supports the skilled work of park and recreation professionals to strengthen community cohesion and resiliency, connect people with nature and each other, and provide and promote opportunities for healthful living, social equity, and environmental sustainability, and whereas the Select Board values the essential services that parks and recreations professionals and volunteers perform to provide recreational developmental enrichment for our children, youth, adults, and older adults, and to ensure our parks and recreational spaces are safe, clean, inclusive, welcoming, and ready to use. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Burlington Select Board does hereby proclaim July 21st, 2023 as Park and Recreation Professionals Day in Burlington, adopted this the 17th day of June, 2023. Signed by the board.
Thank you.
Care to
Thank
accept
you.
on behalf of
Yes,
Parks and
yes.
Recreation?
And on behalf of the Recreation Department, we have some shirts and some Burlington Parks and Rec safety, sunscreen, sunglasses, those kinds of things for each of the board members here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Sweet swag.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And we're gonna try to get out of here before 8 o'clock
I was
and
gonna
come
say,
visit you
yes,
at
Culture
Simon's
Night.
Park.
Yes,
We
Culture
will
Night
be
is
there.
tonight. If everyone wants to pop down afterwards, so I appreciate you guys taking me out of order so I can hop over there just to make sure they're all set.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
No, I don't know if this was mine. I'm thinking no. Probably not.
All righty. Item 155, approval, housing proposal, Windview Heights 2. We have, I believe, Attorney Murphy's in attendance, and Town Council is also joining us online if the board has any questions of either of those. Is Tom here?
I see.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Oh, Tom, you want to come on up in case we have some questions, or if you have an opening statement or anything you want to add before we start?
No, Mr. Chairman, frankly, I wasn't anticipating speaking because I knew the public hearing had closed, so, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Well, there may be some. I think we're all familiar with this topic. We've been batting this around for years, quite honestly. So let me start, excuse me, let me start to my left. Mr. Tiggis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to read a statement that I put together. When I first ran for this board back in 2017, I attended several meetings and events at the Council on Aging and other venues. During these events, I gave my word to numerous residents that I would support any effort that brought more senior housing into Burlington. Our vote tonight is whether or not we support this opportunity. It is not approving the project. By not supporting this opportunity to add additional senior housing, I feel as though I'd be breaking those promises and going back on my word. That is the reason why I'm going to support this, because I'd be saying one thing and doing another. Thank you.
Did you, Mr. Priest?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think regardless of the way the vote goes this evening, I think it's important that the select board, let me back up a second and just say, I feel like and this is just from my personal perspective in this moment, uniquely positioned at this point in time with a lot of just very unique circumstances occurring. Now more than ever we need affordable housing. Now more than ever we need more space for people. We need more cohesion. Where property value is skyrocketing and it's causing taxes to increase, which is affecting our population. There's just a lot of unique things that seem to be happening in this moment in time that could very well fall under us to discuss and talk about and try to think strategically over. So regardless of how the vote goes tonight, I encourage the board just to take a big step back and think strategically about affordable housing. Maybe bring more folks into the room to have conversations because it's a problem that's not going away. It's a problem that we can't solve easily. And I think that taking a page out of our own economic development director's playbook in terms of public-private partnerships, maybe we can forge a path of something new that hasn't been done before. We can try. But I think that just taking these one-off as they come, could leave the landscape of the town looking less than what we might think is desirable in the long term, despite our best efforts. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Priest. Mr. Spaho.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Couple things. First, I wanted to just thank everyone who reached out to our board with regards to this this item. In my 5 years in town government, I've never had an issue where I've heard from more residents about their feelings, and regardless of how the way the vote goes, a petition with over 500 signatures, all the emails we got, your voices were heard, and I think that's how it's supposed to work. I hope, regardless of how the vote goes, people don't get discouraged. We want to hear from you. We want to be engaged. And I had a lot of good conversations with people about the project. And it was kind of refreshing to see. Tough to say right now with what's about to happen, but it was refreshing to see and be a part of, and that's how it's supposed to work. Also, I had a question for Attorney Mead. For people who are watching and who are present, after the vote happens, what's the procedure for people, if this were to pass, to voice their concerns or opinions to the state during the next process if we were to move forward, if the board were to find, to approve this tonight? I know there's an approval process and there's an area of space of time where people can let their feelings be known to the state. How does that work?
So this is thank you, members and members of the board tonight. This is a lit process. So the state's going to review it. And because it has the support of the board, I don't believe that there will be another chance for public comment from the state, but there may be. I just have to tell you, I'm a little fuzzy on that particular item. But if they want to make comments on this, they should send it to, I'm going to get the name wrong. It's the Executive Office of Housing and,
Community
Uh,
development.
no, it's not DHCD anymore. They have a new moniker. So in any event, you would send it to them and cite this project for the town of Burlington, to give you their comment, to get your comments to them.
Is there a particular time frame that they have to do this in, or?
Well, I mean, I don't know when the applicant would be submitting the application. So you're submitting this application with the applicant. You would put your letter on it if you were to approve it tonight. And so I would, within the next 10 or 14 days, go ahead and submit my letters.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I agree with everybody on the board right now. There's been, from Mike's standpoint, there's been a lot of people that have negative about this project, but there's also been a lot of people that have said we need this town. Mr. Tigas went on his belief of that he is, that's what he said he was going to do from the start of his campaign. I believe that the town needs affordable housing and senior housing. I've said this from the beginning. If this was an apartment building, I would say no immediately. This is a 55 and older community. This is something I believe the town needs, so I will be supporting this issue tonight. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. All right. I've been quite upfront with my position on this from the get-go. I've been involved in affordable housing for close to 30 years now with the town in various positions. I mean, we've got a recently completed housing needs assessment. We've got our own the town's master plan that all support this type of smaller type senior development in a residential setting. There has been a lot of data, actual data has been gathered in these reports. Dozens of interviews and focus groups have been conducted to get feedback. And again, both of them strongly support exactly this type of housing initiative for Burlington. It should prove to be a positive experience for the community at large. I don't think there's any doubt, whatever neighborhood in Burlington, that this proposal would have been set on, we would have gotten an equal amount of pushback from folks, especially the immediate abutters. It was anticipated by me. I'm sure it was anticipated by the applicants. Everybody's in agreement we could use affordable housing, but not in this neighborhood, or not in that neighborhood, or not where I live. So I mean, it just there's just no, you can't please all the people all the time, and this is a clear example of that. So I do support a letter of support from the board. Again, I want to emphasize that we are not the permitting authority. There is going to be another 4 to 6 months, most likely, of public hearings if this is successful through the Zoning Board of Appeals. But at any rate, I'd like to take this opportunity while we have Attorney Murphy here, if any members of the board would like to suggest any particular conditions of the applicant while we're here this evening. Okay, none. Tom, I'm going to ask that a local preference, whatever is allowed by law, there's a little difference of opinion on exactly how many of the units can be reserved for local residents in the initial round. So whatever that number is, I kind of, for some reason, something tells me it was 70% of the units. Other folks believe it might be something less than that. But I would ask you, excuse me, you and the applicants to, whatever that number is allowable by law, to use that number, whether it's 70 or 50 or what have you, the maximum allowable under the law. I'd like to make that condition part of any motion that we have going forward tonight. I'd also like you to consider, Tom, right now you have, am I correct, is it four? Four affordable, six affordable?
Six.
Six affordable.
24 units, 6 affordable.
Right now, it's six at 80% of area median income. I'd like to see you divide that up a little bit more. I'd like to get a couple of units at, say, 60%, Tom, and let's say 6 at 80, 2 at 60, if you would consider that.
Question, I guess, Mr. Chairman. Are these suggestions or are these?
The second one is a suggestion, because I know you need time to think about that, but I think the first one is not unreasonable.
My only concern, I guess,
The condition of the letter of approval.
I have no problem with the idea, and I'm sure my client won't have any problem with the idea. What I don't know is how the state will look at it. I don't know, frankly, how it works logistically. You know, how long do you have to keep them open for Burlington residents? If not a sufficient number of Burlington residents come forward, when do they open? There's a whole host of things that might or might not happen. So I can certainly represent that we will do the maximum allowed by the state. But you mentioned 70%. I don't know what that number is. And so I'm reluctant to commit to any specifics along those lines, because I think there's a lot of hurdles to get over between now and then. And I can agree that the applicant will use his best efforts to meet whatever the maximum is allowed under the state regulations. But I just don't want to, commit to something that I don't know that I can
I
commit to.
understand.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yes, Attorney Mead, go ahead.
So the board can make these conditions of approval. The town has in the past required a local preference. And what happens is that there are 2 lotteries that are held at the time that the units are ready to be occupied. And one lottery is an open lottery, if you will, and the other lottery is a local preference lottery. And the local preference lottery has to look like the open lottery demographically. To the extent that it doesn't, then your percentage drops. But to the extent it does, that percentage is what becomes the local preference unit. So this board can absolutely condition its approval today on submitting a letter of support, if that's what you choose to do, on saying that any decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals should include this, and that your approval letter is conditioned upon the applicant moving forward in that manner.
Attorney Mead, let me ask you this. Can we reserve the right to negotiate a development agreement at the conclusion of the ZBA hearings to address these 2 issues? Or do they have to be addressed tonight?
Yeah, the horse will be out of the barn by then, Mr. Chair. If you wanted to negotiate a development agreement, my recommendation is that the board not vote on this tonight, that you work out a development agreement now with the developer, and then your letter of approval be based upon that development agreement moving forward.
Okay, I'm
I want to wrap this up.
Fancy, I think we all do. So, then, Tom, here's what I would like to make the first condition part of the motion tonight, that whatever that number is under the law for local preference, that's included in the lottery if it gets to that
The
point.
way that Attorney Mead described it, I have no problem with that.
Say that again?
I have no problem with with what you're trying to say in the manner that Attorney Mead discussed and opined. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I just didn't want to agree to 70%, to 30%, to 50%.
And I can understand that. And maybe we could have a sidebar on that at a later date.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough?
sure.
Mr. Chair, you can include the number of units also that you want affordable, because the ZBA, unless they exercise their safe harbor, may have a little more difficulty doing that. So if this board is conditioning its approval on 6 units at 80% and 2 units at 60%, you can do that in your letter as well, so that DHCD can review that when they review the finances.
I'm going to withdraw that condition tonight on that one, but I will stick with the, I would like to stick with the number of local preference to whatever's allowable under the fair housing laws of Massachusetts. Fair
Agreed.
enough? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, anything further from the board members? Okay, anybody care to make a motion on this with the conditions noted?
I'd like to make a motion to approve with the conditions noted. 35 Mountain Road,
Second.
Winview Heights 2.
There was a motion in the packet, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if it needs to be
Actually,
read directly or...
Jim, did you get that copy of that? Where did I see it? Oh, Jim, did you see that?
And Joe to read it.
We're not using
No,
all
it's
those,
Joe's.
we're not using all those conditions, right?
Right. You'll have to modify it.
No, just
Just the top one, right? I move to issue a letter of support for Winview Heights 2 as presented to the board pursuant to the requested dated, which is today, the 20th, subject to including all the following conditions. No, I don't want all.
no conditions that are noted for the,
Well, the conditions noted earlier for the lottery. Okay?
there you go. Okay, motion.
Second.
Joe, second by Jim. All in favor of the motion? Say
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes, 3 in favor, 2 opposed. Thank you, everybody. I know that was a long, difficult process. I appreciate your patience and your due diligence on this. Item 156, approval, election workers, town election and town meeting 2024 dates. We're town clerk.
It's okay to introduce George, too. Good evening, thank you. This is the annual thing we have to do. First off, you will have lists of the election workers that need to be approved for our elections for next year, for 2024. And then just to kind of go over and review what the dates are for elections and town meeting next year. And I need a vote on the election and the approval on the town meeting dates. So I don't know, any questions about the election workers?
Hey, who's the gentleman
Oh,
with you
okay,
tonight?
well, I was going to get to him third.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm
That's okay.
sorry. Okay, wait.
Also, we have one other appointment that has to be made. we've had an opening on the Board of Registrars for several months with Mr. Larson stepping down after 42 years of service. And I'll be recognizing him at some point. I have a thing for him, but we're trying to arrange that with the family. But in that state, then what has to happen is the position that was open is a Democratic position. The Democratic Town Committee needed to come forward with a nominee for that, and they have nominated Mr. Peter Hodges from Stephanie Street here in Burlington. Mr. Hodges has been a longtime resident and a longtime Democrat, and is currently not involved with any other boards or anything in town, which is a requirement to the Board of Registrars members. And so this will be the other item that you can vote on this evening.
Okay, so we obviously looking for two. I'm sorry, I should have.
That's okay, no
jumped the gun.
problem.
I'm sorry, my
I was
apologies.
going to build it up.
Mike tells me I do that all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. Gentlemen, any questions of Ms. Warfield regarding election workers and town election dates and so forth?
None from me, sir.
Michael, anybody?
Mike,
Jim?
just have a question. Does this have to be voted separately, or can it be voted all together?
The election workers should be separate. Everything, the other dates could be voted together.
Okay, we can do that. Seeing as though you asked,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the list of election workers as presented by Ms. Warfield tonight.
by Jim,
Second.
by Joe. Anything further, gentlemen? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
500. And a fine list of candidates, by the way. God bless them, they do yeoman's work out there. It's not easy, especially lately.
Well, thank you.
Just, Mr. Chairman, one quick
Yeah.
comment.
Sure.
These names have been here for a long time. These folks really either like you or like their job.
Probably depends on which day you ask them what the answer
Or like democracy.
Yeah,
That's true too.
but I'm glad, I like seeing new people come on board, but I love seeing people that have been there for a long time. They really help this town a lot.
And that certainly is, in towns that deal with a high turnover in election workers, it's always one of the extra anxiousness that a clerk can have. So it is nice to make sure that we have a good set of clerks and wardens who are well-trained and have been doing the job for a number of years. So that's a benefit we do have in Burlington.
We're lucky to have them.
Yeah, very definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the list of workers.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I make a motion we approve the town election and town meeting dates for 2024 as presented. Bob?
Second.
Mr. Chairman, there's been a request from the chat, someone can just read the date of the election.
I was going to say, I don't see town meeting date on our backup. I see the town election day is the 6th, but
Okay. The town meeting dates are, and these are all based on what's in the bylaws. The January town meeting will be January 22nd. And again, always running for the next, that's a Monday, running for the next Wednesday if need be, if we have to have more than one day. The May date is May 13th, which is a Monday. And again, if it takes us more than one night to take care of May town meeting, it will be May 15th, and then on to the next week, the next Monday.
okay.
And then the last date for town meeting would be September 23rd. Again, that's a Monday, and if need be, then it would be September 25th, would be the second date.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so Jim, you get
I got that.
April 6th and
Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the annual town election for April 6th, 2024, and town meeting dates of January 22nd, 2024, May 13th, 2024, and September 23rd, 2024.
Second.
motion and a second by Mike. Anything further? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
500. Okay,
Good. Now to
can
appointing
introduce
Mr.
Peter.
Hodges. So again, this is Peter Hodges. He's been nominated by the Democratic Town Committee for filling the vacancy on the Board of Registrars.
Pleasure to meet you, Peter, and thank you very much for offering your services to the community.
Thank you so much, and questions that you have, I'd be happy to
Let me go
answer.
around the circle here. Mike, anything?
No, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Hodges, for offering your service to the town.
Thank you.
Randy?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Priest?
Nothing as well, apologies.
Mr. Tiggins?
Thank you for stepping up. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Peter Hodges for the Board of Registrars.
Thank you, Michael. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nick. Anything further? Being done, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Good.
There you go. Yeah, nice to meet you, Peter. We look forward to seeing you on April
Hope
6th.
to be here for 43 years.
There you go.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're taking Amy's job?
And thank, what?
Looks like you're taking Amy's job.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Welcome. Item 157, Residential Compost Initiative. Rachel and Brian is also here as well. Good evening. Good to see you guys again.
Hello, good to see you.
See you.
Okay, so we're just here with a new initiative in town. No votes, just happy updates. So Town of Burlington has now partnered with Black Earth Compost to begin an elective residential curbside compost collection program. We selected Black Earth because they already have a presence in town with about 50 residents who are signed up for curbside collection. We appreciate their company values, and they also have a very large list of items that they do collect curbside. So anything from leftover food, paper towels, they collect pet food, napkins, the bones from your chicken wings, cooking oil, and compost certified coffee pods or other things that they offer. They have an extensive list on their website, and then tomorrow I'll be starting a new page under our trash and recycling website on burlington.org, which is on the main page. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a whole new section for compost and organics and how to get rid of them, and our partnership with Black Earth as well. So this is year one, and it's going to be year to year. If we like where things are going, we're kind of doing a pilot program. We want to grasp the interest, see how many people actually sign up. And you'll be able to see on the website as well the structure we have for pricing. Residents can sign up, pay month to month for weekly or bi-weekly collection, or they can opt for a 6-month subscription program, which will save a little bit of money. And the more residents who sign up, the less this is going to cost everybody. It's a tiered structure program. It's 0 to 299 residents, then it changes to a lower amount at 300, and then again at 600 is the lowest that they'll go. We have other options too if people are interested in compost, don't really know where to begin. I know Mr. Priest has mentioned it before, you can compost at home and use it to put it back into your garden. We do still sell compost bins down in our highway garage. You can pay at the tax office, call our highway department and schedule a pickup, and we do sell those for $40. And another option we just found out recently, Mom's Organic Market, which is a new grocery store over on Cambridge Street, right around Target and Total Line. You can drop off any compost you have around their back door for free, and they'll take anything, so as long as it's compostable. So that's what we're presenting today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Start on this, and I'm sure there's going to be some questions here. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Rich, do they just come right to your house, depending on if you sign up for weekly or bi-weekly, and they just
Yeah,
put it out like the trash?
Yeah, you sign up and you get a kit. It is $39.50, and it comes with a 13-gallon bin, and it has wheels. And you can also get 15 bin liners in that kit for the outside barrel, and the idea is you have, a little barrel in your kitchen to put your food scraps, and they'll give you 30 liners for that barrel as well. We can align it with trash collection day, because I'm sure people would forget to put it out if it wasn't the same day as their other two toters. But yeah, they come right to your house and pick it up.
And do the 50 people we already have signed up count towards the 300, the first tier?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Good question, good question.
Okay, thank you, thanks. Pretty cool, interesting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Joe?
No questions.
Good? Yeah?
No, this is great, thank you.
Yeah.
Just a comment that may sound familiar to you. Back in the day, remember the old pig farm? We used to put that stuff in the ground. They used to have the thing called a swill bucket, and they'd come and take all the food for the pigs, and it stunk. It's, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
remember.
It just kind of brings it back to putting your food back out and waiting for it to collect. That's all, no comment, no other comment, but I knew you'd get a kick
No,
out
I know a lot of people have been inquiring about that lately. So actually what really caught my attention was you say there's a Mom's Kitchen or something, somewhere down there in the old crossroads. plaza that's accepting this. What are they accepting it in?
If you
Go
put it,
down there with a pail? I mean,
just your bare hands.
no wonder, 'cause they'll be
And
surprised.
there are a lot of bags that are certified compostable, and I haven't looked into their requirements, but I'm sure that if you place it in a certified compostable bag or a liner, they will take it for you, so you don't have to get your hands dirty.
That one's a head scratch. I'm curious how that one's gonna work out. We know how the cardboard recycling thing works.
Isn't that compostable?
We don't have anything.
Isn't that compostable too?
Certain cardboard, yeah.
It's not a bin that you're depositing your compost into, it's going from you to an employee.
Okay.
So it's not an unmonitored
We hope.
dumpster.
We hope it works that way. We hope it works. Okay, and again, when, Rachel, are we going to see this on the website soon?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow.
And we're also going to advertise by putting it on our social media. We're collaborating with Conservation Department, so they're going to be helping us out with that as well. And we plan to send some postcards with QR codes as well.
Wonderful. Oh, good. I hope some folks take you up on that.
Another question,
Yeah,
Mr.
Mike.
Chairman. Do we think this will impact the amount of trash that, maybe impact our next trash contract, that if enough people get involved, that we'll be paying less for trash? I don't know.
In an ideal world, we will see a reduction in our tonnage for trash disposal, yes.
And that'll give us an opportunity at that time to determine whether Rachel was able to negotiate, and the team were able to negotiate some pretty decent prices for the residents for the program. But in the future, if we find out that it does actually really take a lot of tonnage out of the trash system, then the town can consider whether a subsidy for it would be warranted as to whether we wanted to contribute it to try to encourage more people to do it. So it'll be a good way to test to see what impact it actually has on the trash that actually goes to the incinerator.
And this is all just food waste, right? What about like packaging that touches food? Is that compostable, or is it just food waste, period? I don't know.
So food soiled paper is acceptable, so napkins and paper towels, compostable tableware, tissues, egg cartons. As long as it doesn't have bodily fluid on it, then you can absolutely compost it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, good. All righty. Anything further? Nope.
Great.
All right, Rachel, thank you both. Good to see you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Item 158, citizens' time. Is there anyone in the room here for citizens' time this evening? And I can't see behind that screen. Michael, has anybody got their hand up back there?
No.
Is there anybody online for citizens' time?
No.
I don't see anybody. Lynn, you see
Nope.
anybody? Okay. Item 159, approval economic development, 4 one-day liquor licenses. Melissa is here. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. For the record, Melissa Tintoklis, Economic Development. This evening, we're here, thank you for having us. We're asking the board for our liquor license for the community beer garden that's being held in Town Center. So as you may recall, part of the economic development as strategies for activating and bringing new foot traffic to the town center has been a concept called placemaking, and it's through programs and activation in a physical area trying to reimagine space. And so with that, we've been engaged with the small business owners, and we had done this last year with, well, this is now kind of, I guess it's three years. We had 1 year with Saturday being kind of a one-day event. And then last year, we did it with 4 Thursdays in September. And we had over 1,500 people come out total. And we engaged the small businesses in the town center again to see if they, really wanted to see this again. Was it effective? Was it helpful in bringing some visibility and awareness to this town center? And they said yes. So we said, was the Saturday good or was the Thursday good? Really trying to get some input from them directly. And they liked the Thursdays, so we are going to do that again this year. And that's why before you is a request for a liquor license for 4 Thursdays in September coming up, and the time frame will be the same, so 4:30 to 8:30. We've been in communication with the property owner, and then online, Christine Healy with Crafted, who has supported our logistics in some of the connections with the beer companies to actually create the pop-up beer garden, is online with us. And so I don't know if you have any questions at this point. Happy to answer anything, but that is the request before you tonight.
Thank you. Let me start down this end. Ms. Tiggers, any questions?
No questions, but I know this has been a huge success. It was a huge success last year. And definitely in favor of it.
Great.
Yeah, ditto. This has been nothing but a success in my opinion. Clearly, I mean, despite our thoughts on the matter, Thursday was wildly popular for a day. Which I mean, like I mean, how many times did we go back and forth about Thursday versus Saturday last year?
Right.
And we're like, oh, we'll go for Thursday because we did Saturday. We'll test it and see how it goes. And sure enough, 1,500 people show up. So clearly, people got wind of the first one, either enjoyed it or missed it, and then came to the next grouping. So I hope that these are equally as popular, and that from here, either we can create more consistency with this, or find a way to broaden it, and really see where we can take it. So yeah, that's it.
Very good, very good. Mr. Morandi?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I went to a couple of them. I thought they were fantastic. I really enjoyed the fact you could bring a dog. So that was a big help for everybody that brought their dogs down. And it was very town orientated. It was very friendly atmosphere. Everyone was having a good time. So I couldn't see why we wouldn't support this again for another 4 times.
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Spail?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'll echo the board. I think they're great. There's a great sense of community and loving to learn what placemaking is all about. I wish we could do it every Thursday. They're so fun. So, looking forward to it. Thank you for your efforts on this, Melissa. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, Michael, thank you. It's nice to see Christine working with us again this year. Great job last year. Other than the September dates, you have anything planned for August, or not necessarily beer garden type event, but are there any other events on the?
So.
You brought it up, Mike. Did you see that look?
At this point, we're staying focused with the town center and the beer garden. And I think we've gotten more requests. We did, if you recall, from town meetings, supported some additional funds for placemaking. And so we want to be a little strategic in how we're doing that. As you may recall, these efforts are rooted in the master plan and our community's interest in really kind of activating our town center. So it's always been a balance, because we've had more interest from some of the larger corporate restaurants that are outside town center that have wanted to participate. We've had some interest in locating it into different parts that might be outside of the kind of concentration where the small businesses are. So that has been kind of some of the challenges, good and bad, right? It's great. It created more interest, and some being taken notice by some of the higher corporate level businesses. But the effort is trying to be grassroots in where we do want to support those independent businesses. So that's been the balance, and kind of maybe a little bit of a challenge or dance, I'll say, with trying to stay focused. That said, we are looking to do something a little bit more creative, or something come in the next, so we have something each season.
Very good. In 10 seconds or less, tell the folks at home about how to get to your website, because I get it on a regular basis.
Oh, yes.
So I always read it, and I find it very entertaining.
Oh, yes.
A lot of things, a lot of goings on that I find of interest. So Very quickly, just
Oh, thank you. I'm very enthusiastically, I'm excited to share that with you. So anyone listening at home, we have a website called bringmetoburlington.com, and it's just all the words run together. And the idea of this website is really to share a lot of the commercial side of Burlington, the business, the entrepreneurial side, and the things that kind of make us special on that kind of live work side of things. We really know kind of our community, and I think our website for the town does a great job of directing our residents to how to get things done in town. This website really showcases what we have in terms of the innovation and the industriousness of kind of our commercial activity here in town. And so it also, if you look at the initiatives page, and I believe in the photo gallery, we have the beer garden from last year, and some of the other activities that we've been able to put together. So thank you for letting me share that.
you didn't mind me bringing that up, right? The August thing was different. Okay, if there's nothing further, I would entertain a motion for the licenses requested from Economic.
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the four one-day liquor licenses for the use of our Economic Development Department on September 7th, September 14th, the 21st, and 28th, as presented in our backup.
Mr. Chairman, can we just suggest that we maybe add on one more date as a rain date, as an alternative date?
Oh, sure, yeah.
October 5th would be that following Thursday. Yeah, that is smart. We did not plan for that, but if we can amend the request to include October 5th.
I'll go ahead
would
and
be
amend the motion to add October 5th as a rain date.
Very good.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Anything further? Being none. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. There you go. See you in September.
Great, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks, Christine.
Paul, item 160, social work. I don't see Christine Chouhan here. Is she? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jess.
Pardon me. Come on up. Pinch hitting tonight.
I'm Jess Reedy Swan. I'm the clinical supervisor at Burlington Youth and Family. Christine is on a well-deserved vacation this week. I'm here to ask for the board's approval for a position called Youth Navigator, which is a new one for our department. I think you're aware we were awarded a rather sizable grant from Housing and Urban Development in October of 2022, offering like rental assistance and case management to homeless youth in our community, ages 17 to 24. So we've been looking for a full-time youth navigator since then. It has been a difficult hiring process, so I'm excited to recommend Kathy Torres Iparaguirre. She was not able to be here this evening, but we are hoping that she'll be able to start on July 31st.
Paul, do you have anything to add?
I would just add to the board that this is a grant-funded position, as Jess already mentioned to us. Christine was here to announce the grant that was working for homelessness with youth, and this is a position that will be funded for the grant for at least 2 years.
It would be 2 years starting October 2022, so it would end in September 2024.
I'm gonna have
So they're kind of connected, that homelessness program and this position is sort of a...
Yes, the position is hired to work on the grant, so, yes.
John?
No, does Paul have to make an appointment, or?
I do, I'm gonna need some help with that pronunciation again. So.
Sure, it's Kathy Torres Iparaguirre.
Iparaguirre.
Yep.
Thank you. So I wish to appoint Kathy Torres Iparaguirre to the position of social worker on the homelessness grant, youth homeless case manager in the Burlington Youth and Family Services. It asks that the board waive its 15-day waiting period.
Very good.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, second by Nick. Anything further? Being none. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. There you go. Congratulations, and very nice to meet you, by the way.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay, item 162 is a public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing. The notice has been posted online in our backup and in various media outlets and approved by the chair. So let me start with my,
Mr. Chair, I'm going to shortcut this a little bit. My name is Attorney Tom Truex of Salem, and I represent the proposed licensee. With me is Ashwin Rathod, who's the owner of the store, Def Convenience. When I arrived here this evening to pick up the certified mail receipts, I looked at the dates, and unfortunately, the post office could not do them on the 13th, which would have been the 3 days, and they were done on, the 12th, they were done on the 13th. So there's no way I can proceed tonight because the ABCC will kick it back.
well, that's unfortunate.
So we would just have to, I would just have to speak with Kim to get a new date, and then we'd republish, and we'd have to resend to the abutters.
We can continue this, or we'll
Yes.
publish it for a new?
I mean, I assume there may be people here tonight, I don't know, but it does, you know,
Do you wish for us to continue it or to start a whole?
I think we're going to have to start, I think that's the proper way to do it. Because when I look at the certification the ABCC gets, it's going to say the date it was published, which would be that date, the last Friday, and then it was showed the 3 days. It wouldn't take into consideration a continuance. So I really want to make sure it's done correctly, so.
Absolutely.
And I apologize, I just found out tonight.
Prejudice, or how do you want to do that? What's the appropriate?
Yeah, I would just withdraw the article without prejudice, the agenda item, and
Is your wishes?
Yeah, that's fine.
The applicant
And
withdraw?
I'll speak to Kim and we'll get it all taken care of.
Tomorrow, she's out.
Okay, all right. I apologize. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. All right.
Sorry for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, moving on, here we go. Item 163, approval. License to deal junk, precious and/or metals.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
My name is Zora Ablalayan. I own the jewelry store in Burlington. So the bank asked me about this license. So here to.
Okay, hold on, let me pull you. I gotta skip down to your. What's the address of your establishment again?
Excuse
Where
me?
are you located?
In Burlington, 189 Cambridge Street in Burlington. Yeah.
Thank you. We don't see these very often, so.
Excuse me?
So excuse me if I'm sort of
Yeah.
fumbling around just a little bit with your application here. And while I do that, let me toss it to, let me start with Jim, because Jim has a little bit of experience in this. Jim, you want to start?
Sure. Actually, the police department and the town are going to be working on an effort to get better communication with the intake. I know the term junk is an archaic term, but it's what it is when jewelry stores want to take in someone else's old jewelry or maybe use it as a trade, and that has to be documented, recorded, get an ID, and a copy that has to be sent to the police department.
Of course, we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm almost 12 years in the Burlington. Everything we send to police. Yeah.
The reason why, well, I used to get your emails when I worked there, so myself and Gary Redfern would.
Oh yeah, Garrett.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Now with Patrick Lyon, we're sending everything to him.
Patrick Lyons, yeah.
Yes, now, yeah.
So I just wanted to educate the public a little on why we're doing this is because they're required, so you just can't, it's to keep shady pawn shops, so to speak, from opening up in town. So we have all these requirements, regulations that they now have to go through to, not now, but they have to go through so that we're not taking in stolen property, so to speak.
And it sounds to me like you're compliant. You have been compliant over the years, and this is more of a housekeeping matter. From what I see, Paul, you could shed a little more light on this, or?
Well, I think as you've indicated, Mr. Chairman, we haven't seen many of these requests in years. So, we're going to follow up with the police department, just determine whether there are any other locations in town that should be carrying this license as well.
And these are, Lynn, how long are they good for? We're going to see the gentleman annually, or?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, anything else? Mike?
I have a quick question, just out of curiosity. What's the percentage of your business, is it a large percentage, this resale of
Honestly,
or other goods?
most business, our retail, like custom jewelry, we do mostly. But people they want to sell, we can't say no. We buy it. When we buy every month, we send to refinery. Of course, after we report to the police, after 1 month, if the police didn't call us, we have rights to melt it. After 1 month, we melt it and we send to refinery. They send us new gold and we make jewelry. But not the main goal is buying gold. Our main goal is retail. We make custom jewelry. But anybody comes, we can't say no if they're gonna sell with the right person to buy.
So it's only a small percentage of the business?
Yeah, it's not a big deal, yeah. Like once every week, like we send like 3, 4 emails, 5 emails, 4 emails, like 3,000, 2,000, not like large quantities, yeah. But I buy from jewelers too. I have wholesale accounts, so we buy from jewelers too. Of course, every single stores they file, but from jewelers I don't file because they're already filing to their towns too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, sure.
So,
Joe?
yep, thank you. Hi, how are you? Good. So, reading over all the positives about this, everything you checked off, one of my concerns was the fact that, like, up the street a little bit, there used to be a thrift shop. A thrift shop up the street a little bit. That's what we don't want to see, is like everything outside the store. If you decide to start selling other stuffs in that store, as long as it's just jewelry and watches and clocks and stuff like that, it's okay. But once we start seeing other stuff outside, it's right here in the license, part of it says that. So what you checked off, it wouldn't happen. Just want to make sure that we go over that, that's all.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick?
No, I was just rereading the way we define junk, and I think to the point that Joe's making, it's
Right.
oddly broad.
It's number 8 on here.
Yeah.
If you want to read it,
Yeah. And so I'm glad that, again, this is obviously just, a formality of paperwork, because you're running obviously a business and, like you said, you're in it for the retail and to make jewelry, not to,
Yes, but already I have from town certificate that I can buy and sell.
Right.
Already I have that.
Yeah. So I see no issue other than, the fact that our bylaws are a little wonky in that way, but absolutely fine with what's happening.
Okay.
I really don't have anything further myself. If there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay, so for example, I have from town already license to buy and sell. Just why they asking this paper? What's the difference this paper from that license? Just, can I know? Already I have in my certificate saying I can buy and sell. So this paper for
We can send you the Mass General Law. The bylaw that the town has mirrors Mass General Law, so we can give you the law in the section if you wanted to sort of read that a little bit further.
Okay, just to, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve
It's a public hearing, so we don't have to check
Oh,
This is not a public hearing.
Oh,
no, this one is.
sorry, I'm on the.
But I will if there's someone, if anybody out there online had a question.
No, I'm just in the wrong article altogether.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the license to deal junk, precious and/or metals to LL Jewelry at 189 Cambridge Street.
Second.
Jim, second. So Nick, anything further from the board? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0-0. There you are, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a nice night.
Item 164, update on the town common policy. Which is that?
Yep, we presented the board's town policy back to you. We've gotten some feedback about, one of the things we've experienced is that the town common's pretty big, and some of the groups that reserve it are relatively small. So are there occasions where we can have the board approve the use by two separate groups, as long as there's no conflict on the noise or anything like that? So I think our staff has come up with a map in there to sort of where to divide the common in half, and also a procedure in terms of how do people go about holding their dates for the future year. That's getting a little competitive now too, where, there's certain dates that are more desirable that, we're just trying to put some order into that process too. Lynn, and what do we come up with on that?
So for booking for the following year, they have to wait till 9 a.m. on the first day in January that we're open. So no request for 2024 will be accepted until the first day in January at 9 a.m. And we will later in the year send this new policy to our regular participants, people that book year after year, so that there's no problem with fairness. Everyone's made aware that that's when it's going to happen, because we have people already asking, trying to book their date for June of next year. So this way we figure it will get out, everyone will have a fair shot at it. We'll be swamped at 9 a.m. on the first
I'm sure you
day in January we're open, but we'll
Happy
be
New Year.
prepared for that. So, and again, we just feel like most of the events that we've seen this year have not been big enough to constitute the entire common, that if people want that date bad enough, they need to share it.
Big common, especially when you go east
Sure
and west.
is.
So,
Thank you, Joe, for helping with that.
Any questions?
I had two quick questions. Yeah, real quick. The first, I just thought of just now sitting here with two groups using the common at once. We have enough electricity running up there if we wanted to plug in, like no one's going to short or blow a fuse.
Yeah, I mean, the electrical system was totally redone 5 or 6 years ago, so that was a huge concern for many years until we had the system redone. I mean, we still experience issues out there, but the system can certainly accommodate a lot of power usage out there that we have, so. Rec does a pretty good job of testing it out before people go out and use the common on particular, for particular events and whatnot, but we should, by all measures, we should have enough power out there. It's a relatively new, totally redone system.
Okay. And then my other question was, if two groups have, the same time slot, I'm trying to think how to phrase this question, but it's basically a question about parking. If we have not enough parking for folks, like how do we mitigate that, I guess?
I would just suggest that we wouldn't even engage two large groups at the same time. We already, if you think of some of the larger events, Celebrate Burlington, Truck Day, parking's an issue for those events as well. But I think on this particular one, we'll be looking to, if there's two smaller groups, parking's typically not an issue. But we'll have to monitor it the same way as if the two smaller groups are going to be a larger group, then we'll have to work the police aspect of it in as well, and the parking aspect of it.
All right, cool.
I like that question, especially about the electric. Gentlemen, this end. Joe? Good?
I'm good.
All good, Mr. Chairman.
I'm good too. I know we've kicked these around quite a few times now. I mean, I'm okay with those two. You open for approval tonight, or are you just updating us, or what?
Yeah, we would like your approval since you guys set the policy. Those are changes
You guys
to
comfortable
it.
with that, approving these two? These two items? Okay, if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve east, west, and January.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve the updated town common policy with those two mentioned changes.
Second.
Motion by Nick, second by Michael. Anything further? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Okay. Thank you very much. I know that's a lot of work dealing with these things. Good job. Mr. Denizio, I'm guessing this is yours. End of year transfers?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is one of the final processes in the year-end closeout, closing of the books for FY '23, which just ended on June 30th, which is just another step. We've been doing this for the last few years since they changed the law and allowed for, with the approval of the Finance Committee in town, which here in town is our Ways and Means Committee, and the Executive Board, which here in town is our Select Board. So approval, we can transfer money between our accounts and budget to balance out lines that otherwise wouldn't. So it's important to note that this isn't any new money, this isn't costing anybody anything, this is just to put the money in the right spots for where it was spent. You can see the list there. The only one that really, or one of the ones that sticks out the most is the fire overtime, which we've been talking about for several months now. This was the final lever we were going to pull to get through this year, which was a difficult situation, which we talked to death. Hopefully we won't be back doing this anymore. We took some steps when we were approving the operating budget to help alleviate this going forward. We talked about we had a structural issue that was causing this deficit year after year, and we took some steps to try to address that. So hopefully we don't have the same amount. I'm guessing we'll probably have the same number of accounts, but hopefully the amount will be much less. One of those that might stand out on there is the debt, the number in debt, interest and principal. That was just when we budgeted in the wrong slot. Those are both in the same department, if you will. We're just a debt payment that was paid as interest. When we created the budget, we had it as principal. So we would rather pay it out of the right spot and move the money to make that happen. So, like I said, this is one of the final steps in closing the books. Whitney does a lot of work with department heads to get this, to stay on top of this, to try to limit the number of transfers that we do at the end of each year. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions from the board? Looking down, looking your way, Mike, anything?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
No, sir.
Sir, in John we trust, apparently.
Oh, we didn't say that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I get you. So, okay, seeing as there's no questions on the transfers, I got an email recently. We received a refund from Sarsheen Tech, is that right? Get some money back from them?
I haven't heard yet.
You haven't? Did you guys get that email? Did you get it?
I heard that they did not spend everything that they...
Oh, okay, never mind.
I heard that too.
Okay, I thought it was an email. Might have been a private conversation. Never mind. Never mind.
I think it was posted online. It was posted online.
Foot in my mouth, huh?
It was posted online.
It was, I thought I read it somewhere. Okay, never mind. Motion on the
Chairman,
transfers.
I make a motion we approve the end of year transfers as presented by Mr. Denizio.
Second.
Motion from Jim. Did I hear second?
Second, yeah, sorry.
I thought so. Anything further? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
500. All righty. Transfer minutes. Anybody?
Mr.
Make
Chairman.
a motion.
Oh, good, John.
Oh, you got it. Good.
I'll make a motion to approve the strategic plan meeting of 6/14, alcohol subcommittee meeting 6/26, 23, 7/10, 23, and the regular meetings of 5/8, 23, 5/22 of 23, 6/12 of 23, and 6/26 of 23.
Second.
Any questions, concerns, omissions, errors noted in the minutes? Okay, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
500. Okay, subcommittee reports. Let me start to my left. John, take it.
Just two quick items. Saddened by the passing of retired police captain Carl Boutwell, who passed away earlier this month. I had the pleasure of working with Carl for a little over 20 years, and I thought to myself, saying, in those 20 plus years, I never saw the man angry. I never saw him angry. And he always had that, he always used to say, just be positive. That was, he would tell people, just be positive. So saddened to lose Carl, great guy. And sorry that he left us too soon. And the other is a little bit more positive item. Wednesday, August 2nd is our annual public safety night at Wegmans. Police, fire, DPW from Burlington will be there, plus surrounding cities and towns. In years past, we've had a tank there, we've had a rescue boat, all kinds of unique first responder equipment. And it's no rain date because it's all in the lower level garage of Wegmans, so the rain is not an issue. But it's usually a very well-attended event. A couple thousand people show up and meet a lot of first responders, two-legged first responders and four-legged first responders will be there. That's it for me.
Good, thank you, Jim. That's a great night. What was it, hours again?
It's going to be Wednesday, August 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Wegmans provides free food, samples, drinks to all those who attend.
What don't they do?
I know, it's a win-win-win, and I know that what I've heard in the past is all the businesses, all the restaurants do better that night because they have the crowd there. And the kids love it, the grown-ups love it.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Nick?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Keep this short as humanly possible. So we presented the communications plan at our last meeting. Looking forward to continued discussion on that. If I recall, and I could be wrong because I feel like I am more often these days than not, ISAC is looking for an additional member to help round out the committee. So if folks are interested in cybersecurity or really all things information systems technology, it'd be great to have folks. It's definitely a committee with a lot of industry qualified folks, which is great to see. And then I just want to take a moment and thank everybody for coming out and joining us in the 4th of July parade. This is the first time we've had a chance to talk about it. Everyone who was involved in putting it together, this board for showing up and walking. The weather managed to hold for us by and large down the route, which is great. And just a huge thank you to everyone who participated and for everyone who turned out. I was saying to the guys while we were walking down the route this year that it was so heartening to see so many residents with their pop-up tents, their patio umbrellas, their ponchos. Everyone was just out and ready, and that was just an amazing showing of this community. So thank you everybody for coming out because, you know, the parade goes on because of the residents, and it's great to feel that the warm tinglies when you see the fruits of your labor. So thank you everybody.
Very good. Thank you, Nick. Joe?
Yes, I can't agree with Nick more. I thought the parade was a wonderful time. I had a blast. We did a lovely little walk in the rain. It actually cooled us off a little bit. I thought that was really good. On a different note, today, myself and Mr. Runyon went to Lexington, and we looked at their facility over there for recycling. It was absolutely wonderful. So we got a lot of information. It's something we can definitely look into for one of our sites, maybe here in Burlington, and we'll go from there. But what a facility they had.
Very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Clean, neat. Everything was right to specs, and it was good. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Michael?
No, Mr. Chairman, the two items I had were kind of, my thunder was stolen, no pun intended, by my colleagues over there. But I also wanted to thank everyone on the 4th of July committee. I know a lot of both of you gentlemen and everyone else who participated. I know it's a lot of work that goes in that parade every year. And I also wanted to extend my thanks to everyone that came out to the parade. It was really fun to see. Even in that weather, people were still out there, and it was just, it's a great day for the town, and I'm glad that the inclement weather didn't stop Burlington from celebrating the 4th like we do. So thank you to everyone involved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michael. I would like to extend my condolences, and I know I speak for every member of the board and everybody in the room, to Bill Boudreau. Bill, for more than 30 years, was an assistant director at our Parks and Recreation department there. Bill was instrumental in shaping and molding all of the programs that we enjoy today. When Bill started over 30 years ago, there was only about 20 programs at the time. He helped build that up to over 200 programs that we all enjoy today, which makes Burlington's Parks and Recreation Department head and shoulders above all of our neighbors by far. Just an outstanding program, and I'll tell you what, we couldn't have done it without the dedication of Bill Boudreau, and I'm sure just about everybody at home that's watching knows Bill or participated in a program that Bill ran. Just a wonderful, wonderful man, and again, condolences go out to Bill's family. He'll be sorely missed, and the town of Burlington will owes him a debt of gratitude for all his time and efforts in our very successful recreation programs that we enjoy here today. So with that, I'm going to throw it to the town administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything to add to any of those presentations. You guys know I don't have any air conditioning, so that's been my biggest complaint of the week, so.
I heard you fiddle with the thermostat or something, and you're not supposed to.
Might have to sleep in the office pretty soon.
Oh, at home you don't have anything?
Right.
Oh, I thought you were mentioning off.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you, everyone.